So here we are. This is the Anti-Canon Perzine workshop. And once again, it's just such an honor to be invited here by the OC Zine Fest. And thank you especially to Chloe for being my contact and walking me through all this. I'm really thrilled to share, whatever knowledge I have about this medium with all of you, and to tell you a little bit about my small press, Off Menu Press. We are, I'll get there, but bottom line is that we are anti-canon, and I'll explain a bit more about why that's important and what exactly that means, and why I really personally care a lot about that. Okay, so here's our sort of loose agenda for today. Basically, I'm going to introduce Off Menu Press, who we are, what we do, what we care about. Then we'll go into the concept of a perzine. What is this? What is this personal zine? Aren't all zines personal? What defines a perzine exactly? And then we'll do some free writing, try to get our brain juices flowing to write personal essays or poetry or kind of a mixed medium approach. And then we're going to turn them into zines and hopefully have some time to share at the end. At any point, also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to write it in a comment. I'm here, Chloe's here. We have some Off Menu Press staffers behind the scenes as well, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so a little bit about Off Menu Press. We are a small press amplifying canonically excluded voices and stories. We started out back in 2018 with a different name and sort of a loose understanding of who we are and what we were doing. I just had graduated from my undergraduate studies in English at University of Washington in Seattle, and I felt like there were no spaces that served my work the way that I wanted them to. No spaces that didn't want to heavily edit or revise my work, and no spaces that were really there to amplify women and people with canonically excluded genders. So what we mean by that is pretty much anyone that has been wronged by the patriarchal system of traditional publishing. So we've published many trans writers, non-binary writers, two-spirit writers, also artists. We've published quite a few artists as well. So any gender that has been discriminated against by the patriarchy, those folks are who we aim to publish. So what have we been up to? We've been up to quite a bit lately. Earlier this summer, we just successfully launched a Kickstarter campaign, and it was fully funded. Woohoo! And this is really helping us keep our operations running for the remainder of the year. What that looks like for us is being able to pay our writers, our staffers, keep our website going, print our zines, all of that. We also have been busy with some virtual zine fests. Obviously, we are here right now, but we just participated in the Queer Zest Zine Fest, and we will be participating in the San Francisco Zine Fest coming up this week, actually. We will also be publishing a novella this fall, which is really different for us. We are quite frequently just a zine publishing press, but we figured why not amplify and uplift this novella that has a really incredible story to tell. So it's called The Sea of Dead Souls by Nina Louise, and that will be out on Off Menu Press in probably early fall. The pre-order will open, so look out for that. And we also have 10 zines available for purchase on our website currently. So if you just want to kind of get on some of those DIY menus, as we like to call them, little tidbits of a lot of different folks, poetry, prose, art, definitely check out what we have to offer on our website. And all of our website, social media info is there on the right. Here are some of our zines. So the one on the far left called The Lies Employers Tell, How to Spot Union Busting in Your Workplace. That is one of our newest published zines. We have a limited run right now of just 100. So get in while you can and get your zine. They're available for $5 on the website. We also have these flash zines that this was what our Kickstarter helped fund. Basically, we created 3 flash zines and 3 larger issues. These were those 3 flash zines, also available on the website, all inspired by feminist authors. And then here are those larger issues that I was mentioning. So these were actually about to print, and I'm really excited. We're about to send them to the printer like today or Monday. So, this is something I'm really excited about, and I would love for you all to be able to hold a physical copy. And I also want to mention, if anyone cannot afford these zines for whatever reason, you don't need to explain yourself. Feel free to just reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, by email, and we're happy to work with you and make a deal and figure it out. So just a tiny bit about me here, why I'm interested in this and why I'm here sharing some of my skills on this front is I am a writer, an educator, and a researcher. I'm currently living in Santa Cruz, which is the unceded territory, apologies for the cat in the background, of the Uypi Tribe. And I recently just moved here, actually, and I was living in LA before, finishing up my master's degree in English down there. And I will now be pursuing a PhD here at UC Santa Cruz. And my own interests are really in memory studies and trauma studies. But from a zine point of view, I'm just so passionate about creating spaces that we don't need to follow any rules in. I think that's one of the hardest things for me about being in academia. As much as I love it and I love engaging with that work, I just love being in zine spaces that have the power to really free our minds and free our creativity from these really traditional, rigid structures. So what is a Perzine, going off of that, thinking about these rigid structures? A Perzine is, I'll start with this. Zines do not need to have definitions. They can break all the rules, right? You can do whatever it is calls to you in a zine, and they can be anything. They can be created in a variety of ways, right? They don't need to be structured. But Perzines tend to be thought of as basically zines that deal with the personal. Oftentimes they are like a single essay, a personal essay, or a series of essays that deal with someone's individual experiences, maybe also deal with their kind of opinions about an issue, maybe share a memory or an idea about the world, right? So personal zines tend to be kind of from the first person, and they're less kind of informational, maybe. Maybe they're not like going in with a goal of trying to persuade you to do something. Instead, it's more putting your heart onto the page. So why create a Perzine? Why create a zine at all? I think is a good question to start with. It's this interesting bridge zines are between your own mind, yourself, and the world, right? There's there's something different about creating a zine than there is writing in a journal, for example. We all have kind of a story to tell. As I wrote here, your voice, your experiences, your memories, your ideas, those all matter. And they don't just matter to you, but they matter to others. It does feel good to share our voices with others, but it also, on the receiving end, going to a zine fest, checking out someone else's Perzine, that can really make you feel less alone. And I've definitely had that experience before, checking out someone's zine and saying like, "Oh, I resonate with that." And that's something really, really special about Perzines. And that's one of the reasons that today I would really like to um, just kind of explore that with all of you. And I'm going to be working alongside you so we can all do this together. So again, a little note here on why zines instead of traditional publishing. They give you the freedom to create whatever you want to create, to share your work and connect with others. This is maybe one of my favorites. They avoid gatekeepers. You don't need to send your zine to a bunch of different publishers and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" and wait 6 months to get your rejection letter, right? Zines basically allow you to be the gatekeeper yourself. You, in that way, kind of avoid this canon, which is decided by other people. The canon basically being like what literature is important. Your zine is important no matter what the canon says. And another really cool feature about zines is they can memorialize. They have the power, the same way that journaling might, to archive your ideas, to you know, remember how you felt in that present specific moment. And you can look back at that years from now and say, like, whoa, that was crazy. How did I feel like that? Or maybe like, oh, like I have love for that younger self. And I think it's kind of beautiful in a way that journals don't, that you're putting it a bookend on it, right? You're not just kind of writing until the journal's done. This is a start and an end, and it's intentional in that way as well. So I would like to start with a little free write, and I'm not sure how many folks are joining us or if anyone's here right now, but hopefully, if folks aren't here at the moment, people will check this out at a later date. But I am gonna, build in the time here for people to be able to free write and to be able to take the time to actually create a zine, because I think that it's helpful to have someone kind of walk you through it. So, this is something that I've done with some of my college freshmen before. And at first, it's really challenging. Like, they're like, "You want me to write for 10 minutes straight?" And it feels really weird. But I usually find that at about like minute two and a half, three, uh, I'm starting to just like, I can't stop writing. Like it's just all pouring out of me. So I really want to encourage you all, as I show you the prompt on the next slide, to not worry about the final product when you're working. Don't stop moving your pen or pencil, and just don't be embarrassed of your own ideas. Just let them flow onto the page. Um, and I do highly recommend actually writing with a pen, pencil, paper, whatever that might look like for you, if you're able to, versus typing. I think typing can kind of be a barrier in some ways. So I'll give you all a second to gather your materials, and I will put the prompt up here. Okay. So the question I want to pose to start getting you thinking about how to start writing a Perzine is, everyone has a story to tell. So what's yours? And if you're stuck, I have some more specific prompts that you could latch onto and respond to. So one of these is, what is one part of your identity that makes you feel unique? Is there a story that you'd had access to as a kid, or that you'd wished you'd had access to as a kid or a teen, that maybe would have made you feel less alone? And if you didn't have access to that, write that story for yourself and for maybe other younger folks to check out. And this on the right here is, uh, what is something you're really good at that you'd like to share with others? What is, this is an excuse to be proud of yourself and to be brave and share your own skills with the world. So I'm going to leave these up here for a bit. I think I'm going to time for about, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And then as you're writing, if you decide that you want to share something with me, for me to read or share with everyone on the stream, please feel free to write it in the comments, and I will definitely share that with folks. And I want this to just be a really collaborative co-work space. So I'm going to play some music, just some really relaxing kind of working music, and we'll come back probably about 12:22 or so. I had a show a few weeks ago. It's getting harder and harder to sing, and it is hard to focus on my guitar playing when inside a baby is kicking. At first I was sad and scared, 'cause this is all I know how to do. Then John and Peter played standing up. Sometimes something will change, and that change will change you. Then I thought back to 6 years ago, when Brian Pelton told me to play. He gave me a car, a typewriter, a guitar. Before that, all I could do was count days. Then I thought back to before my coma rehab in Tacoma, my junkie roommates, and all that I knew how to do was put cigarettes out on myself. I took pills and I drank. And I thought back to when I was 15, how I was squeaky clean and I wanted to die. I was feeding the homeless while combating loneliness. All I could do was keep living a lie. Then I think back to that 12-year-old poet, how she didn't know it was what she would be. All she could do was hide under her bed, scared to death that somebody might read her diary. You see, I have changed and I'll keep on changing, and maybe my songwriting will suffer, but it's okay if at the end of the day all I can do next is be a good mother. It's okay if at the end of the day all I can do next is be a good mother. Okay, everyone, start wrapping up. Finish your last couple sentences. I'm just going to bring the cat up because he will not stop meowing. So here he is. He's joining us for a moment. So I would love to ask, is anybody interested in sharing any thoughts, comments, questions, any components of what you wrote? This is a safe space to do so if anyone is interested. And again, just drop a line in the chat if you feel that way. In the meantime, I think we will keep it moving. So I would love to move from doing this free writing activity where, again, it's just kind of a stream of consciousness to actually putting it into a zine. And the easiest way to do that is to create a little miniature zine. And to create this, you don't need staples, glue. All you need is a piece of paper, a writing utensil, and ideally you would have something to cut the paper with, whether that's scissors, an X-Acto knife, or my little DIY piece of advice is you could always just fold it and perforate it with a little bit of water or your spit. So this is an example that I made a couple weeks ago. It is called NonCanonical Self, and I combined some photos of myself, not photos, images, right, that I drew, and just kind of put some ideas out there into the world. So I did this in about 30 minutes, and I hadn't even done a free write before. So you are all far ahead of me in the game and totally capable of creating this. And the free write that we just did, you can refer to it and it can be a guiding outline for this, or you could just kind of use that as a brainstorming session and make something totally different. But the first step to actually making one of these is turning it into a zine. So I'm going to first show you all how to do this folding pattern. It's pretty easy. So first, what you're going to want to do is fold it hot dog style, so long ways in half. So like this, right? And it helps if you have like a flat surface that you can use here. So let's see if I can get you all to see this. Yeah. So I'm going to line up the corners and I'm just going to fold it directly in half. So now it looks like this. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to really make this crease nice and good. And then I'm going to now fold it, unfold it, right? So you can see that crease there. And now I'm going to fold it hamburger style, short ways. And again, try to make sure all your corners are nicely lined up if you can. Okay, and then do the same. Make sure that crease is really good. So now you can see you still have this crease in the middle, and then you have a folded sheet of paper there. And now this is the part that I definitely want to make sure we're all doing right. You're going to take the open end like this. See, it opens, and then you're going to fold it over again. And you're going to do that on both sides. So just did the first one, and now you see it's like a little flap here. I'm going to do the second one now. And so now you have a thin sheet of paper here, and you should be able to create this shape with it. Okay, so once you have it in this shape, you are going to take your cutting utensil and you are going to do this. Cut along this line right here. There it is. Awesome, right here. So I will demonstrate just up to this fold, right? So now it goes like that, see? And this is the most fun, nifty part. You like do this like cootie catcher style from childhood and do a little folding action and you have your zine. Just like your little pamphlet of blank paper for you to put all of your beautiful, wonderful ideas. So, right, you have a little tiny booklet. And it is true, like you will have these kind of funky pages that you can't really put any content in. If it bothers you, you're always welcome to use a glue stick and just kind of shut those pages. But I really love this medium because you don't need to use staples. You don't need to sew anything. It's just the most minimalist possible zine strategy. The one downside, I suppose, is that you do have a pretty miniature space to work with. But you could always make multiple versions of these and sew them together or staple them together. Plenty of options that I would be happy to chat with you more about post workshop today. So now what I really recommend you do is you go ahead and you number all of your pages. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Let's see. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm going to do page 1. Then I'm going to keep going through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and last but not least, 8. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unfold this. And then what you have here is your single sheet of paper with all of your numbers, your page numbers on it. And so now you can create your story, whatever that looks like for you. And again, Chloe, if we could pull up the PowerPoint again, thank you so much. Right, what we have is this beautiful reason to create a Perzine. I just want to revisit one more time. There's not necessarily a necessary goal for this. There's not necessarily like a perfect final product or a perfect way to create this. The bottom line is this is a space. This one piece of paper is now a space for you to put your ideas, your experiences, your feelings onto the page in a way that might really help someone else or just might feel really good for you. So we're going to take another 5 to 10 minutes, probably closer to the 10-minute region again. I'll put on some more music, and what we'll do is we'll just start filling out our zines. And, again, if you have any questions or you want to kind of stop me and chat about something related to this, we can totally also do that during this time. So without further ado, let me play some music, and I'm also just going to have these prompts up again in case that's helpful. Beautiful.
How you get closer to love? How you eliminate all your sadness when you open it up? How you make excuses for billionaires you broken up? But sunny niggas around me rolling up and smoking me up. Because my rainforest cries. Everybody dies a little. And I just wanna dance tonight. And I just wanna dance tonight. Yeah, he my little baby Medusa, tipping the juice up. I go back and forth in a Uber, travel for 2 months. I'm the emptiest, hallelujah. Open my chest up, it's a rabbit inside my hat. Angel all dressed up, looking to bless up at the milk and the honey case. I make money for money's sake. I've been writing 100 days. Took the wretched out the earth and called it baby for 9. I know my shoulder blades are shattered wings and carry me home. I said, baby, come on. You know this flesh is only temporary, brittle as bone. Why don't you empty out your love for me, then chisel the stone? These are 10 black commandments, a property loan. Cause every blade of grass on earth we don't actually own. I am the I am, says Sam, am I? The universe bleeds infinity, you got one life. Yeah, how you get close to love? How you eliminate all your sadness when you open it up? How you make excuses for billionaires you broken up? But sunny niggas around me rolling up and smoking me up. Because when rainforest cries, everybody dies a little. Everybody dies a little. I just wanna dance tonight. I just wanna dance tonight. If you think you love me, then bury me when the sun up. Faded with the homie, he purling another blunt up. Talking to Muhammad like niggas don't really trust us. Dying on stolen land for $1 like that ain't fucked up. It's fuck they money. I'ma say it every song until the revolution coming. All the feds start running. Fuck a Goodwill Hunting. This is brand new murder. Revolutionary suicide, the clothes occurred, and you ain't seen death. I can hear the blood on the moon. These niggas put a flag up on it, all they do is consume. Only animal to ravage everything in its path. They turned a natural resource into a bundle of cash. Made the world anti-black, then divided the class. Now the rich niggas is rich niggas with showbread, really bitch niggas with big figures. Some cokeheads, these bitches is cokeheads. Man, fuck a billionaire. How you get close to love? How you eliminate all your sadness when you open it up? How you make excuses for billionaires you broken up? But sunny niggas around me rolling up and smoking me up. Because when rainforest cries, everybody dies a little. Everybody dies a little. I just wanna dance tonight. I just wanna dance tonight.
Okay, y'all. Start coming back, and you don't need to be done with your mini Perzine at all, but start bringing it back so that we might have some time to share. I would love to kind of, again, open up the floor and let folks, write some notes about what they were working on. I can get us started just to kind of break the ice here. I was having some trouble when I was doing my Freewrite, as often happens, just thinking, what story do I have to tell? What's so interesting about my life that I can feel like I could share this in a Perzine? And I had some trouble. And then eventually I thought back to one of the hardest experiences in my life, which was grieving my dad's passing. And I was 11. And one of the things that was really challenging for me was that I couldn't really connect with a lot of these kind of picture books about this cookie cutter grief. There's a lot of kind of really traditional mainstream publishing books about this for kids, but they didn't really feel like they applied to me. And so I created a little zine today called It's Okay to Grieve Wrong, a Perzine by Rebecca Gross. And I've only gotten up to page 3 so far, but this is what it looks like so far. And I wrote, when I was little, my dad used to sing me the Peach Nut song. The song was a lullaby for me only because I was the only nut of the peach. But then when my dad died when I was 11, I felt my identity was muted. I didn't know how to reckon with the books that were bought for me at Barnes and Noble, books that acted like my grief was a cookie cutter experience. It wasn't. So this is kind of the beginning of my mini 8-page zine that's going to be not only sharing my experience, but also hopefully helping others that maybe would see this at a zine fest or even just kind of placed in a bathroom stall, placed in a park structure, something like that, right? That would allow folks to resonate with this. Does anyone else want to share or have any comments, questions? Okay, cool. I don't think we have any comments yet. But if folks are just coming in, we are currently in this process sharing about our Perzines. You can either share what you were working on or ask a question about it. Maybe you have a question about form. Maybe you missed something and you're not quite sure how to create this mini zine. All questions are welcome and fantastic. So any comments or questions, please feel free to share. And our last slide is up right now. Just a great thank you, but we do have another 15 minutes left. So if folks just came in and want me to go back to anything, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to also talk a bit more about Off Menu Press and how you can find us, how you can get some of your work published with us. Again, we try not to be gatekeepers. We try to make it a space where folks can publish the work that they want to publish as long as they feel like they identify with our mission. So I'm happy to talk more about that as well. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I'm really happy to have shared this all with you, and just really grateful again for the space, for OC Zine Fest, and for being able to participate and connect with other zinesters doing this work. So you can find us. I'm also going to pull up our website so you all can see that. Give me 1 second here. Let me reshare. So this is where you can find more about us on offmenupress.com. Once again, we are a zine and community space for individuals with canonically excluded genders. You can read more about what we do here and check out all of our Off Menu Press staffers. Huge shout out to Anis, Grace, and Monica for all of your hard work. And especially during the challenging Kickstarter that we had. And you can shop for our zines here. These are some of our old vintage zines. We have some other merch as well. And you can read actually an excerpt right now of the novella that we will be publishing in the fall, The Sea of Dead Souls by Nina Louise. So be sure to check that out. And again, just thank you all so much for joining and listening to the small amount of wisdom I have to share about this. And I'm always hoping to connect and learn from others. So please hit me up if you want to share your zine that you made today with me. We would love to post that on our Instagram and share with the world what you did in our workshop today. So thanks again so much. And I really appreciate y'all. And if there aren't any other questions or comments, I think I'll wrap up. And yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, Chloe, yes, question. So the question is, how do we distribute or share Perzines? Me personally, I have like a this is great. This is from a YouTube commenter. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so I personally like haven't ever posted my Perzines on offmenupress.com to actually sell, but we have a Patreon, and I will often throw them in a Patreon subscription package and send it along as kind of a little extra bonus. Another great thing to do, and I'm actually going to take you all on a little trip to the other room. I have a little zine collection right here, and here we are. Here it is in a shoebox along with my tarot cards. But what's great about these miniature zines is like you can always just hold on to them and put them right in your pocket, give them to other folks, right? So here's one that I love about harm reduction, saving lives and what that can do. And you see, it's literally the same exact thing we just made. I could unfold it and refold it, right? Here it is. And now I'll refold it so I don't ruin this beautiful zine. But what's great about this is this is something that I think I got for free at a zine fest. It was on someone's table and they were just giving it out. So these are really cheap to create. Once you make yours, you can just Xerox it flat, and then you can cut it up and fold it up the same way that we did today. So distribution wise, it's really up to you. But if you have a zine that you want to share with the world and you're not sure how to quite do that, I would love to distribute your Perzine. So reach out to us. Our email is contact@offmenupress.com. You could also reach out to us at offmenupress. Just DM us on Twitter or Instagram. And we would love to collaborate with you and figure that out. And we'll proudly share your zine with the world. Any other questions, comments? This is another mini zine that I love about Sylvia Plath, who's one of my favorites. My favorites in the canon, that is. And this person actually did use staples, so it has a few more extra pages, which is nice. Yeah. Okay, I don't think there's any more comments or questions, so thank you all so much. Much love to all of you, and wishing you a great weekend. Thanks to the OC Zine Fest again. Much love.